number 11, A, B, and C, find all values of x that make the absolute value of x minus 5 less than 11. So let's take a look at that. So absolute value of x minus 5 less than 11. Knowing what we had learned from 9 and 10, I'm kind of curious to know what that would look like. Interesting. Well, let's take a look at this. Let's see. Let's just solve this. So I have x minus 5 less than 11. I also have x minus 5 greater than negative 11. So solving both inequalities, whoops, let's try that again. Adding 5 to both sides. Adding 5 to both sides. Here I have x less than 16. Adding 5 to both sides of this inequality. Here I have x greater than negative 6. Drawing the number line. So here I have 16. Here I have negative 6. It's open circles on both. X is greater than negative 6 going this direction. X is less than 16 going this direction. So we have x less than 16 greater than negative 6. This is a conjunction. Now, what I find interesting is look at the total spread on this. Here I have the total distance between negative 6 and 16 is what? 22. 22, half of which is 11. Oh, interesting, that's that number. Half of 22 is 11. And if I add negative 6 and 11, I get 5. So 5 is my midpoint. Oh, so there's my midpoint. There's my midpoint, 5. And I'm going 11 units in either direction. How about that? So you could have actually done this without even doing this, as long as you knew this was the midpoint. You go 11 points, you go 11 in either direction from this midpoint, and there you go. You've got this already done. So let's try this and see if we can actually do this backwards on this one, just for fun. So we're saying that the absolute value of x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 4. All right, so knowing what I know right now, can I figure out what that is without doing any algebra? Well, I think my midpoint's going to be 5. I think I'm going 4 units in either direction this way. So 5 plus 4 is 9. So I bet you I've got 9 here. 5 minus 4 is 1. I think I've got 1 here. It's a greater than or equal to, so I bet you it's a closed circle. I bet you our graph is going to look like this. Let's see if that is the way it comes out. So we're saying that x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 4. X minus 5 less than or equal to negative 4. If I add 5 to both sides of this inequality, I get x greater than or equal to 9. Here, if I add 5 to both sides of this inequality, I get x less than or equal to 1. And this certainly is an OR, so this is a disjunction. And how about that? It turns out that I did draw this correctly. So just from looking at this, I was able to draw the graph. Okay? Now let's try this one, less than or equal to 8. So here I have the absolute value of x minus 5 less than or equal to 8. So I bet you my number line, here's 5. I'm going to go 8 out in either direction. Let's see, 8 and 5 is 13. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. And let's see, there's an equal to. So I think my graph is going to look like this. So I think x is going to be less than or equal to 13 and greater than or equal to negative 3. Let's see if that actually what happens. Let's go ahead and move this up. We can actually draw underneath it here. Okay, so let's try that. See if that is indeed the case. Alright, so I have x minus 5 less than or equal to 8, which is if I add 5 to both sides, I get x less than or equal to 13. Here I have x minus 5 greater than or equal to negative 8. And if I add 5 to both sides on that, I get x greater than or equal to negative 3. And that is indeed the case. X is less than or equal to 13 and greater than or equal to negative 3. So that turns out to be the case.